Hi, I wanted to share some thoughts about always being camera ready. Now, when I say always being camera ready, I don't mean being dressed to the nines and being preoccupied with your appearance so much so that it makes you self-conscious. But I had a couple of experiences lately that kind of illustrated why it's kind of always important to be prepared. It's like the old saying, luck is opportunity meeting preparedness. So these recent experiences I had kind of illustrate how we've all, over the past year throughout the pandemic, gotten kind of comfortable with being at home and being casually dressed, which is fine. I've really enjoyed that aspect of it myself. But I had a couple of experiences where I was not camera ready that kind of illustrated why it's important to just not kind of totally let yourself go when you've gotten used to being at home and being in comfortable clothes and not necessarily grooming yourself the way you would back when we used to leave the house all the time. So the first thing that happened was I was on a group call with other professionals, and it was early in the morning, and I had kind of rolled out of bed and not really done my hair or anything. So I just figured, okay, I'll jump on this call. Nobody's going to have their camera on. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if I accidentally turned the camera on, or if the host accidentally turned the camera on, or if the host intentionally turned my camera on to see if I was paying attention, because I was being kind of quiet in the meeting because I didn't feel that I had necessarily anything to say. But all of a sudden, my image popped on and nobody else's camera was on but mine. Like I said, I had not done my hair, and Lord, I looked like Boris Johnson if Boris Johnson was black. I mean, my hair was standing all over the place. And interestingly enough, I wasn't even looking at the screen when my camera popped on. I was reaching down to get a sip of my smoothie that I make every morning. And so I had reached down to grab the cup. And then when I looked up, it was like, oh my God, I see myself on screen. And then as quickly as I saw myself, then my camera turned off. So I did have my hand near my mouth, so it's possible that I accidentally turned my camera on. Like I said, it may have been the host who accidentally turned my camera on, or who knows what happened. But that's just an example of being camera ready. I'm not saying I had to get dressed to the nines, but as simple as throwing on a cap. I'm sure there's all kinds of stylish baseball caps and other kinds of hats you can throw on when you have to go into a virtual meeting and you haven't had time to groom yourself and do your hair or get a haircut, because many of us have gotten lax with getting haircuts because we're not going out as much. So it's as simple as just putting on a nice shirt and maybe throwing on a cap when you're going to be on camera. And so the second incident that happened that illustrated the importance of being camera ready was I was on a group call with some other filmmakers, and once again, it was something that was taking place in the evening after a long day of work. So I logged on with my camera off and just thought, okay, I'll listen and kind of tune in while I'm lounging around, because I was really tired. And I didn't know that this webinar on filmmaking was going to have breakout sessions where they randomly chose people to put into a virtual room with one of the presenters. And what happened was, so I had my camera off, and so when we got switched into this breakout room, the 2 or 3 other people in the virtual room had their cameras on, and the presenter asked them all kinds of questions about the projects they were working on and gave them advice. And I kept thinking to myself, okay, I should go throw on a cap or something, because once again, my hair was kind of standing all over my head. I should kind of go freshen up real quick so I can turn my camera on. And I can, have some one-on-one time with this presenter who's like a professional documentary filmmaker with decades of experience. But by the time that I got ready to turn my camera on, the breakout session was over. And the 2 or 3 people who had their cameras on totally dominated the conversation because they were ready. They had their cameras on, they had their questions ready, and unfortunately, I didn't. So that's just a couple examples of, how you may want to be presentable. You don't have to go over the top and try to dress up when you're doing a virtual call, but be camera ready.